I feel like this is the most rain I've seen in the last 3 years, and I lived in Seattle for 2 years. Pat. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know
it
what's
is
happening.
amazing that you can go through an entire summer with 1 inch of rain total, and all of a sudden we're getting feet. It won't stop. And sounded like last night there was like 5 different thunderstorms
Oh,
that
yeah.
came, stopped raining, came back, and it's still raining this morning. Unbelievable.
Get it out of
So
your
the
system now, because we got at least 2 playoff games we need to clear the deck for next
Yeah,
week. All
right.
right,
Next
get it
week,
out.
I think. But
So, I don't know.
Wednesday's 50-50 maybe, but Tuesday's supposed to be good. So we still don't know who's Seattle. Houston's got to go to Arizona and win a couple of games, so they might be the odd team out, because I heard Seattle's got the tiebreaker with Houston. So
Yeah.
if they ended up with a 6 spot, I don't. This Houston team would not scare me at all. Verlander's not what he
Really?
was. The lefty Valdez is not unhittable. How about that, Lightning?
That's you.
That's
Just
amazing.
rolled by me in St. Louis
That's fun.
Park.
Yeah, yeah. But I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be scared of Houston. You know what's interesting with Seattle, though? I was watching some of them last night. Rodriguez is colder than ice. He's had a lousy September, and he's 5 for 39 and striking out all the time. If you could keep him that cold, you'd like to play Seattle probably. But if he gets, he might wake up Tuesday and decide to get 5 hits too. So
He's gone back and forth a lot. Like he started off awful, got red hot. Now back to this.
I think he was a player of the month in August or something. He was unhittable. I mean, you couldn't get him out. But then you're not going to, you're going to probably be an underdog against any team you play, right? Toronto's on paper better than you. So are the other two, Seattle and Houston. So, but the Twins, if they hit a little bit, they're winning. We were talking about this the other day. The reason they have lost 18 straight playoff games is they never hit in the playoffs. What, 2.5 runs? They've averaged 2.5 runs in those.
Yeah, they haven't scored more than 5 in any of those losses, or maybe they might have had 6. I take that back. I think they scored 6. So I am fresh off watching there's a YouTube documentary. It's like an hour and a half about the 0-18 streak, and it lays out. Goes through. It's incredible. I'll send you a link so you can watch it.
Who did the documentary?
So I believe it is the same group, the same producer that did. There's like a 8-part Vikings series that was produced by Dorktown.
So local guys.
It's a Twins fan who did it. Yes.
Okay. Wow.
But yeah, the first game in the streak was Game 2 of the 2004 ALDS. The Twins had won Game 1. See, when we start talking about the streak, it's like the baseball gods are coming.
From the gods come to us.
So the Twins in that Game 2 at Yankee Stadium, the Twins were down 5-3 in the 8th inning, and they got a guy or two on base, and the Yankees brought in Mariano Rivera for a 5-out save.
Yeah.
And Justin Morneau blooped a hit to right to score a run. This is like a second-year Justin Morneau. And then Corey Koski had an 8-minute at-bat against Mariano Rivera, and he laces a double down the left field line with Luis Rivas running from first. Ground rule double. So Luis Rivas, who had crossed home plate, had to go back to third. So the game was 5-5. Torrey Hunter hits a bomb in the top of the 10th or the 11th.
Yeah.
To put the Twins up.
I can't remember who he hit it off.
It wasn't Mariano Rivera.
Put him up, but then Gardy tries to get a 3rd inning out of Nathan.
Out of Joe Nathan.
Yeah. He'd never done that here. And A-Rod got the big hit, right?
A-Rod had the big winning ground rule double. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's another Nathan game that they were going to win too, isn't there? And A-Rod
actually, Matt Suey had the game winner. A-Rod hit a 3-run tank off Nathan. Was that 09 maybe?
09.
Yeah, 09. That's the one I remember. That's the one I ripped him. Yeah. I ripped him afterwards for not going after. That he tried to throw 3 sliders and have him. A-Rod isn't chasing a ball in the other batter's box. I ripped Nathan. Only time I ever got called at home in my life for ripping somebody. So he went to the Twins PR and they called me up and said, "Is it okay if he calls you?" I said, "Yeah, I don't care. That's fine." Because it was a couple of days later, but his feelings were hurt. But hey, you blew it, baby. Now because of you, we have an 18-game losing streak in the playoffs. But,
Joe Nathan, 10 appearances in the playoffs, 9 earned runs.
Wow. Yeah.
It was bad.
He was get up and leave after 8, though. If he was ahead there in the regular season for about 4 years, he was pretty good. He was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he called you at home to discuss the fact that he screwed up and you shouldn't have ripped him for it?
Basically, I can't remember the exact conversation, but it was just him a chance to bitch, so that was okay. I've seen him since and he's fine.
There it is.
It's not like they all forget about it eventually. Most of them anyway. Most of them.
I do Friday hits with Tom Bernard, and Kent Herbeck is on Fridays, and he still carries a little bit. When I say, "Hey guys, I got to go because we're recording Reusse Unchained," he's always like, "Tell Patrick hi from me," sarcastically, Herbie. Well,
he's the one that announced when I named him Turkey of the Year after his, he took this great sacrifice of money and then had a lousy year, remember? And then he came back and had a pretty good year. They went to the World Series. Yeah. But he announced he wasn't going to talk to me for a year.
Oh.
And he pretty well stuck to that. Then they ended up winning the World during the postseason of '91. He ended the boycott. I could talk to him then. So that kind of, it was a regular 1 year regular season. He wasn't.
It was a ban. It was a Reusse
ban.
ban.
I see him now. In fact, it's funny. There's out where my credit union is in Bloomington. There's this little cheap gas place that I stop at once in a while out, just a little one, it's 10 cents cheaper, but who cares? It's more for the stop there, get a Diet Coke, drive back home. Herbie pulls up there about 2 months ago. Herbie pulls up when I'm there and he says, "What are you doing at my gas station?" Apparently he's been saving 10 cents on gas for years here. So he was, "What are you doing at my gas station?" But he isn't around the ball. I mean, have you seen him around the ball yard at all, Judd? When you've been there, not too much. He hadn't been there much.
I think he's in the stands more than the press box. But they actually when they clinched the division last Friday, he was actually going in the clubhouse as I was leaving, and he was being very deferential about it. I think they wanted to bring him in, and he's like, "I don't know, it's my place." But I think he's in the stands, and I think he's in the Champions Club more than the press box.
He might hang out at his the bar that's named after him there too. I've seen him in there a couple of times. But
good Bloody Mary.
You know what?
It's a good spot.
He had a hell of a career. Obviously, number retired and all that good stuff. But when he was a kid, that first year they brought him up when he was still more of a slim version. That was the best swing you've ever seen, man. That swing was unbelievable. He got a little more of a piece. It got a little more piecey than I thought later on. It was harder work for him. But when you saw him, I remember him, Winter Haven. You guys, Winter Haven was way before your spring training time. The Red Sox were there, and there's an big orange grove in right field behind maybe 50 feet, started maybe 50 feet behind the right field fence. I remember him a kid down there one game just hitting. This is when real guys played spring training games too, and he had 2 in those orange groves with this swing when he was about 20, when he was just a kid, man. He had a swing. Oof. He
used to change it though. He goes back to the Ripken era of guys that would, if they slumped at all, they would constantly change their stances, which you don't see now, really.
No, not at all. He, Rodney was the king of that. He would do, anything. And but he was amazing for a big man. What a great first baseman he was.
Oh,
so, that's just, but anyway, Yeah, we got to get the rain stopped though. How would you like?
I think the ambience is great behind you right now. By the way,
Yeah.
I just if you get some time in the next few days, just go to my Twitter account and I sent a link out for that YouTube video. You can just click on it and find it there for you and for the audience.
By the way, I responded last night to your tweet about Anthony Edwards and Steve Kerr.
I saw that.
What Steve Kerr said, and Steve Kerr, that's certainly great advice. Before the draft, Steve Kerr told him that, right?
Yeah, he told him that you're not. This is pre-draft workout. He said you're not working hard enough. Go watch my guys work out, and that'll be your new bar.
Yeah, so. And I said, it's too bad he didn't tell him, if there's 50 seconds left and you're one possession down, don't throw up a 26-footer without looking at any of your teammates because you're not that good a shooter. That's what I wish he had told him.
I feel like he's a better shooter than you think he is, but he's definitely not Steph Curry with his three-point shot.
No. Steph cannot take a bad shot. Just he's the greatest shooter of all time. Can't take a bad shot. A guy who's about, what is this guy? You know what we've never had with all our superstars? The last minute guy. Garnett, clear out. Okay. Garnett's going to take the last shot. Bang, boing.
Yeah.
Never made it. Hit the front rim every time. Jimmy Butler, get him out of there.
So bad.
Jimmy Butler. Bang!
Yeah, I feel like Butler's gotten better in Miami with it, right? But he can't. He was bad.
Yeah, that's the stupidest thing the NBA does. We got to let the superstar,
Yeah, we're instead of running the actions that got us to 128 points in 47 minutes, we're gonna stop doing that now.
Clear it out for Jimmy because he wants to be the hero, but he's gonna go boing, and you're gonna lose. And
you've got the anti-Mike Breen bang. Breen's got the call.
Bang,
bang! It's a good. Your bang is clanking up.
Boing. Yeah, you gotta get the resonation in it. Boing. That drove me nuts. Why are you having him shoot 19-footers?
Right.
And Anthony, I love him when he's going to the basket. And he's mid-range and the whole thing. But when he gets that look in his eye, you know when he comes out of the timeout that if he's got that look in his eye, nobody else has a chance to get the ball. He's going to shoot it, and he's going to miss it, and you're going to lose.
Yeah.
But it is funny. The angle now for this team is maturity, right? Finchy started that at the end of last season, and that's now that. How do you add maturity? They have to demonstrate it. You can't just say be more mature.
So I went to the media day, like the first. So they literally had 4 hours of player interviews lined up in the media room. I stayed for the first 2 hours. Once Kyle Anderson left, I'm looking at the roster, like, all due respect to some of the other guys, 2 hours is enough for me. In those 2 hours, the word maturity or some iteration of maturity must have been uttered 57 times.
Really?
And even Kyle Anderson was kind of like, after thinking back on it, punching a teammate really wasn't my best moment. And so even I'm 30 and even I probably could grow up a little bit.
And punching a wall is not that's kind of an immature thing. But I don't. Here's what's being over. I hear people talking about the future and everything. They have 1 year, and then they have to resolve the Gobert, Towns, Edwards, all these. They have to resolve that problem somehow, and it's just a horrible thing that they made the Gobert trade. It's just a horrible thing. If they had Walker Kessler instead of him, I would be brimming with optimism, not only for now but for the future. And you'd also have McDaniels signed by now, if you hadn't made that dumbass trade. And it's $41 million, and it gets higher.
It goes up to like 55 or something.
I don't know. It's maybe it can't work, and you can't. There's nothing nothing you can do to get away. Nobody's going to take him. So then you got to trade Cat, and then who knows what you got left after that. So
let's play some Wolves Media Day trivia here, okay? I'm going to ask you. You guys can work together on this answer if you want, as a team. It's you three against me here, okay? So I was in there for 2 hours, and I saw pretty much all of the rotation players and Tim Conley and Chris Finch come in and do their setting the tone for the season press conferences, right? Finchy was in kind of a Finchy. He wasn't like in the best mood, but he was, sometimes he gets a little harumphy, but he's a good guy. He was kind of in coach mode. Of all the other people that were at that podium, I would say all but one were optimistic, friendly, affable, joking around with the media like it's a fresh season. It's media day. We're getting our picture taken over here. It's great, except for one. Who would you guess that was?
Karl Anthony Towns, would it?
Wow, you guys didn't have to work together on that. He just
what was he grumpy about?
I don't know, man. He was just very short with his answers and
he probably had to come back from the south of France. He probably didn't like doing that, or wherever the hell he's been spending the off season.
The only time he perked up was when somebody asked him about his experience in the Philippines and playing for the Dominican Republic, and he takes a lot of pride in that. But it was like, the energy got really weird for the 15 minutes.
And he is I don't think you have to worry about Rudy's involvement. I think he tries, he just has tremendous flaws, but offensively, but he's really the only guy in that whole collection. You got to wonder about attitude, isn't it? Whether he's in or not, whether he's in. I mean,
he's all over the place. He can be. This is a movie one day, and then he can drag the whole room down the next.
If it's about him, he's great.
Yeah, I thought he played hard in the playoff, though. I thought he got beat up some, but only because the other guys were, Jokic was better than him. But I thought his effort was good, but boy, he can show up. He can decide the fate of this team all by himself, really. If he's all in or not all in, it's pretty well could decide how good they're going to be.
He was also the only one, and I think some of this is like insecurity. He doesn't want to put a ton of pressure on himself, even though he says he does. So Tim Conley was asked about, hey, what's kind of like what has to happen this year he goes, well, we have to win a playoff series. Yeah. It's time to win. I mean, Tim Conley is saying it's time to win a playoff series. We have to win a playoff series. He even mentioned, Denver kind of came out of nowhere. So, who's to say that if things? But that's the Pobo telling you got to win a playoff series. Mike Conley gets up there and he said, listen, man, like I want to win a championship, and look at what Denver did last year. And so he's not afraid to put that out there. He's Mike Conley, right? When Carl was asked, hey, Tim Conley said, playoff series, what do you expect or what do you want to see happen? And he was the only one to walk it back and be like, listen, it's all about getting better at practice today. It's like, I think, I don't know. There's just something, there's always just been something a little off about his demeanor.
I think he's going to end up getting traded. I think he's the guy you got to trade, but they keep telling me we're wrong about that they can somehow make this whole thing work. Was Laurie around without his shoes on or anything?
Didn't see Laurie in his socks.
Not time to take your shoes off yet. You got to win games, take your shoes off.
Yep. Oh, yeah. That's right.
I mean, A-Rod's going to be around because A-Rod and Michael Kay are doing the Twins playoff series next week.
Oh, really?
In fact, Michael Kay is going to be wandering. He's going to be wandering around the building on Monday doing his radio show in our building.
I like Michael Kay. He's good.
I like Michael Kay a lot. Yeah.
Good. Mm-hmm. But he's stuck with a complete stiff if A-Rod is if A-Rod is an analyst because he sucks. So, because it's just something he does for a check, I think. He just says cliches, and I don't like him as an analyst. But
maybe he can just talk about the Timberwolves between downtime,
right. That's true. So, well, it's winter-wise, it's they have a chance to be the best team in town this winter with the Wild's issues here. I am sick of hearing about the payroll cap crisis that you created yourself and took bows for getting rid of both of those guys. And now that you have to pay the piper, you're like, oh, poor us.
Actually, they're very, you know what? No, they're it's more us. It's more us who points that out. They're very aware of that.
It took Guerin 5 minutes after they got beat in the first round to talk about it.
Their problem is that the cap hasn't gone up. Like everybody thought the cap would go up, but Bettman, because of COVID, stepped in and said, "Oh, we're not going to have the cap go up."
Escrow to pay off.
If you hadn't signed those two guys, you'd be drawing 12,000 a game. Just remember that, because your season tickets would have been half of what they.
But you know what they did, Patrick? For the first time since those two guys left, thank the good Lord, they issued their numbers out to other players. That's my favorite part. Let's get past those two guys. I'm tired of them.
Oh, yeah.
And they gave Parisi's to a minor leaguer. Yeah, it was great.
Is Parisi, he's done, right?
He is, he says he hasn't shown up for camp. He has a standing offer from the Islanders to show up. But according to Shooter, the rumor is he's going to take a job as an assistant to Kurt Giles at Edina High School.
Mm-hmm. Really? Wow. Well, that'll be a good coaching staff. But the other guy had a good year, right? Suter. I mean, he played 25 minutes a game against us in the playoffs, didn't he?
I think the rest of the league is realizing what a pompous, Ryan Suter is more than even.
Yeah, well, who cares if he plays 25 minutes?
He plays a lot. He does a lot of very dumb things now, though. I mean, I saw him turn the puck over at times. His accountability, though, is zero, and so he just plays and insists he's going to play. I'm glad those guys are gone. It's the greatest move ever.
Oh, we couldn't tell.
By the way, back to Phil Fleck and the NIL complaints line.
Yeah.
I looked at the list of the guys they've lost. Today Randy Johnson had a piece. He's whining about losing all these players. He ran damn near all of them off. The guy that went the running back that went to Oregon,
Bucky.
Because Abraham lad came back. There was no. He didn't want to sit on the bench. Now he might have gotten a nice NIL too, but he's a semi regular out at Oregon. It's not like they paid him $500,000 or something. And both those running backs left because you let Abraham come back for year 9, and they knew he was going to get 80% of the cover carry.
Is somebody going to call him out though for doing this on the heels of one of the worst losses of his coaching career? Like, this is so transparent.
Yes. Well, it would be up to me, and I got other stuff to write. So so we can do it here on this show. We can say what it is, and but it's. By the way, 90% of all their NIL money over there already goes to football. You can't, was the NIL supposed to be this transparent though? Send us money so we can buy players. I mean, it's nationally happened, but we need your money to equal the bid that our running back's going to be getting. It was supposed to be kind of surreptitious, wasn't it, that we were doing this stuff?
No, I don't think. I mean, but how are you even police it? That's the thing. It's like the NCAA
can't.
There was never a chance to police it.
Yeah.
Yet they want to suspend. The NCAA wants to suspend Harbaugh because they contacted a couple of recruits during the COVID dead period. Oh, okay. Meanwhile, allegedly, Louisville gives a center that they took away from the Gophers $500,000. That's okay.
Yeah,
but man, we can't have you making any phone calls or texting a recruit during COVID. God, they're terrible. They're so stupid.
Amazing. Hey, before we say goodbye, who wins?
I got to put this out there. Packers offensive line. I said today, our offensive line looks like the Hogs compared to those idiots. They are awful.
Yeah. They
are awful. They're going, Jordan Love, big, strong guy, he's going to get killed. It was a track meet, and this isn't, Hutchinson's great, but this isn't a great defensive line. They were terrible.
Yeah, Lions, they now have wins at Lambeau, which, whatever, and Arrowhead to start the season.
Yes, that's true. All right.
Vikings or Panthers? Who wins?
Vikings.
Okay. 2
touchdowns. But I said that 2 weeks ago, too, so I think they win.
Okay.
I shouldn't say 2 touchdowns because no NFL games are 2 touchdowns unless they're 70 to
Certainly
20.
not Vikings games. Yeah.
No,
Right.
no. The Vikings will win. They will.
Okay.
So
All right.
Jefferson will do something. So,
all right. Enjoy your weekend. Get ready for Twins playoffs next week.
All right.
We'll talk to you next week. Reusse Unchained, presented by our friends at Summit Orthopedics. If you're dealing with any type of pain, whether it's maybe you're an NFL center and you got lower back problems or something. I don't know. Knees, shoulders. No referrals are needed at Summit Orthopedics. They have 25 locations around the Twin Cities, and you can schedule an appointment, same-day appointments, and they also have urgent care that starts at 8 a.m. Learn more at summitortho.com.